So you beat Big Bird 3-0 though before that. That to you was less surprising than Dual Kevin?
So, me and Big Bird played before, and like, because he flew to Connecticut, we played on like Thursday or something like that, and like, uh, we played like I think like four first to fives, and like I won the first one like 5-1, 5-2, then I get 5-0, 5, and then I got 5-0 again. But it's funny because like during those sets, it's the same problem. Well, I don't know if you ever seen the Tokido quote where like you
Yeah.
get 5-0 in one set and then you win 5-0 the next set, and I was just like, yeah, that's the game. What are you gonna do? And then
Okay.
yeah, it's like
Okay, so
that time it just went in
even
my
though
favor.
the last two sets were 10-0 for
Yeah.
Big Bird, it didn't hurt your
No,
confidence at all.
I got throw looped, and then it's like I guess wrong.
Yeah.
I got perfect parried or something. And like it, I feel like if you let that get to you, it you can't let it get to you in six.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean that is a big nature of the game. So you're really embracing sort of the gambling aspect
I think
of this game.
after Tokido had that quote, I was like, nah, Tokido thinks this game kind of silly too. So like after that, I think that's where my mentality kind of was like, wait, it's not just me. And then I think that's where I
Okay.
started playing better.
Okay, so do you think this was kind of hurting you before? Like if you would lose certain ways, or
I think it was
your confidence was hurt?
it was like God. It was like, I think it was a problem with like I'm calling this game scrubby, but I feel like no one's saying like publicly that this game is kind of silly. But then I think when I saw Tokido say, I was like, Tokido's one of the goats, one of the legends, and he thinks the same thing too. So it's not just me kind of mentality.
Do you think prior to that though, that was you
Yeah.
felt a little
Like I was the only one saying this.
But what I'm wondering, so like you're coming from 5 to 6, you still have great results, like I mentioned, but like they're not comparable because you were just winning everything. Was your confidence kind of hurt at the time, and like you're trying to grapple with that, with like your gripes with the game design? No one else is speaking out about the game design, and you're like, were you having any thoughts like maybe I'm the problem? Were you having those kind of thoughts at all?
Yeah, those were definitely happening because, like I said, it was like, am I the problem? Was I just playing? But then, like I said, it's also why is what critique about the CPT is why I don't like going to like the CPT Singapore or like Japan one, because there's only one game. But like even having confidence in like when I play like Strive or Marvel, I feel like getting good results in that game is like, hey, you're not bad at fighting games. It might just be a six thing kind of thing. So I try to keep that in the back of my mind, which is why I like entering other games at events to kind of keep my confidence in something. Like if I went to a tournament and say I went to like the Japan premiere and I was just went like 1 and 2 and I just flunked out a pool, my confidence would be low. But even when I go to events like the first Evo for 6, I think I got like 193rd or something really bad. But I got 9th in Strive, so like my confidence is still there because I was like, yo, I'm one game from top 8 in Strive. So
right.
I think being level-headed about that, or just being able to fall back on something, gives me a lot of confidence.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean, I had to imagine like the game transition is always rough, right? Like I felt that from 4 to 5, like as random as that is, because I was a nobody in 4. But like even just like I was grinding 4 online so much and playing with some strong players here and there offline. I wasn't going to tournaments for nothing because I didn't have the means to. But when 5 came out, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm losing to scrubs.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to people who are clearly like not thinking that much, but I didn't know the engine yet. I didn't know the input delay. I didn't know the Oki situation.
Yeah.
I had to tighten up my gameplay, so it was my fault in the end. But that feeling of like, oh no, like I almost quit Street Fighter 5 when it released, which is crazy to say, considering that that was my most successful competitive game for me in the end. But so 5 to 6, I kind of had like that in the back of my mind, like, oh, I'll lose in the beginning, whatever. I'll get better with time. And I still feel that way. Like I'm not, I'm not as good in 6 as I was in 5, but it doesn't bother me that much. It's like whatever, you got to put work in, and maybe I won't ever get that good again. But I got to imagine for someone like you at your level, like you're seeing also relative success for other people really quick. I would have to say, like, Punk and Knuckle do. Their characters, their choices are also fitting the meta better. Manon is clearly not the meta. Like, that's got to be tough to handle a little bit psychologically, right?
Not really. I feel like also coming from my perspective, because like I don't I kind of try to put myself like in the back of my mind too. In the beginning of 5, I was grinding a lot. Like I was grinding a lot during season 2. Not even exaggerating. During season 2, I would go to my classes, usually come home. I would probably play 5 until I go to bed. Not even exaggerating. In 6, it's not really like that, so I have to have like lower expectations of like, because like how much I'm playing, it does not equate to how much I played 5. So like obviously I'm not grinding as much, so my results are not going to be as good as they were in 5. But I don't grind as much for my sanity because okay,
I was going to ask,
yeah.
like why? I mean, you weren't a professional then, right?
Yeah.
So you're maybe you don't love that label. You're literally a professional player right now.
This
is your profession at the moment.
I've seen streams of Broski, Shine, Just a Kid. The list goes on of people crashing out on 6. So I cannot. I am trying to keep that. I've had streams where I crashed out on 6. I try to keep
We've all had it.
My sanity of this game to like I can't play this game that much. So or else I'm gonna go insane.
So you're trying to find. It's not that you're not grinding just because lazy, right? Yeah. Do you feel like you're actually doing the optimal balance for
I'm trying
managing tilt, getting the most reps in you can without the tilt going too overboard, and then managing that and then coming back when you're ready? Like it's not just you quitting or like not putting in the effort. It's actually the most optimal way for you to practice.
Yeah, it's like when I watch my friends stream and then like I see them, I'm like, damn, you got to take a break, you got to play something. Like I always have like that game that like I can boot up and just play, have a good time. No stress, just trying to click some buttons, play a fun game. But at the same time, when you play 6 and like you get perfect parry too much, or like you get throw looped in the corner, you're just like, damn, what am I supposed to do? Then it's just like, yeah. Like I've had times where like I turned on 6, I got throw looped one time, I'm like, yep, okay, that's enough. I gotta play something else.
It's not the day.
Today's
wow.
Not the day.
So you think 6 is just more stressful and more tilting than like 5?
I only think that because like in 5, I don't want to say there's an answer for everything. But there's like a lot of things where like, hit the lab, practice this, practice that, or be better about this. You can't lab a throw loop. I'm sorry to say, you can't lab a throw loop.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can lab the risk reward a little bit based on what they have, but like it's not. There's not a way to mitigate the pure guess part of it. Yeah, like there's still risk reward calculation for sure. But it is a really, really, really heavy guess. Like you are in a bad spot, and it's very easy to get into that bad spot.
Yeah. Like even like you can't lab getting perfect parried. Like it just happens, and then it's just like
Well, you could have considered the mind game of delay button or this or that. I mean, there's a lot of guessing on both sides very quickly in this game. And I think that's what they wanted the design to be. So, like, in an optimal flow of a Street Fighter 6 round, both parties are guessing heavily. Because even what you mentioned, there's no labbing a throw loop. But, like, what if they decide, okay, I'm going to go for the meaty and they get perfect parried, right? Yeah. It's kind of like they built into the game on both sides, you're constantly guessing. I think offense is still favored, of course. But your offense can get perfect parried randomly.
Yeah,
and then you're in the throw loop, right?
Yeah, now I can't lab that. It's the same situation. I couldn't lab me getting perfect parried into now I'm getting throw looped.
Okay, I mean I see your point. Yeah, I mean the answer is preventing those situations from happening in the first place.
But
so
the way you prevent
that's hard. Also,
the way you prevent is just steamroll.
That's true. That's something I've thought about too. It's like, is it better to play strong control and neutral and slowly work your way in to check their drive rush and then capitalize on the offense? Or is it better to say, fuck you, you won't check this and get in and then start mixing them? Right? It's like really hard to know. I think that's what I struggle with in this game is no understanding that flow. Because in Street Fighter 5, it was much better to play slow.
Yeah. But
like 95% of the time it was better to play slow.
That was the problem with 5. Like I love 5, but definitely at the end of the game, the best thing to do was nothing, which was a recipe for a boring game.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I think the low forward confirm meta was not good.
Yeah.
I didn't like being glued to down back while Karen was holding, walking back and forth with my grill. Like that felt real bad. So fighting games, pick your poison, man.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.